we've been discussing the BJP manifesto on the premise of three discussion points. The first is what they say they have achieved. Now let's examine what they promise they intend to do. Remember, the PM has not once but repeatedly spoken about a 2047 plan, but this is the next 5-year plan, okay? Number one, that when it comes to poor households in this country, the electricity bill is going to be zero. On the premise of a scheme already announced that more than 1.45 crore poor households will get a solar panel. Forget paying electricity, they will earn from electricity. UCC, Uniform Civil Code. I began by saying the BJP had three historic promises, 370, Ram Mandir and UCC. 2 are now done. This is the third one. And they've been talking a lot about it. One can imagine. I don't know, first 100 days, who knows? But they say they're going to do it. Now, number 3 on your screens, to help us understand where the BJP says they're going to take you. Lakpati Didi scheme, they've already announced. Claim is that maybe about under 1 crore women are already benefiting from this scheme. That means 1 lakh crore, 1 lakh per person into 1 crore has been generated into the rural economy. They say we'll take it to 3 lakh crore. 3 crore women in the rural areas will become Lakpati Didis. Now, the issue of women reservation in parliament, which had been hanging fire for the better part of 3 decades, has already been done. 33% reservation has already passed. It gets implemented in a couple of years' time when the next delimitation cycle happens. Now, the same they say that they're going to run a scheme to increase women participation in state legislature. That is not mandated at 33% yet. We don't know if that's going to happen, but they say they're going to work towards increasing that. Number 5 on your screens, just give you a perspective of what they say, what they're applying their mind to, where this goes. This has been a major issue. It's become a major political issue. It's a major issue for a lot of families, is paper leaks. Major issue in Rajasthan, major issue in South India, major issue in Bihar and many places, where meritocracy has been literally put on the hands of a katta or on the hands of a bribe. They say that they're going to do something about this. What that is, in terms of laws, we will find out. The mudra loan, they say, okay, especially to startups or individuals who have received it and paid back, 20 lakhs this time. So if you are a mudra loan beneficiary and have paid back a chunk or are paying back the chunk of your loan, you can hope to take out a loan of another 20 lakh rupees. That's a big chunk of change, okay? Number 7 on your screens is specifically dealing with one nation, one poll. That this electoral cycle, which is every 6 months there is elections happening in the country, will be harmonized. Now, exactly what this means is the committee that has filed a report under the former President of India. You know that committee has already filed that report. I'm assuming that the committee was constituted in October, November last year with the purpose of putting the ground laying for this to be done quickly. This would require the NDA to have a 2/3 majority in parliament for them to make this happen across the country. Good for the country, bad for the country. Many people will say excellent if the elections can be done in less chunks rather than every 6 months. Now, fishermen have been addressed in this, specifically on the technology side of things. That's number 8. Let's have a look at number 9 when it comes going beyond the technology for fishermen in the application of tribes, where this 24,000 crore rupee fund, this has already been announced. This is under implementation. Of course, the rollout, so the actual people, beneficiaries get the monies, is underway. Number 10 on your screens of the 15 points we've culled out from this 77-page manifesto is specifically addressing culture, Tamil culture, and of course talks about yoga, Ayurveda and other Bharatiya languages, not just Hindi. You've seen this as a themology of the Prime Minister in reaching out. So you can clearly see a distinction between us being told that there is a polarization, North and South, Hindi versus Tamil, to saying Tamil also promote, Hindi also promote, Kannada also promote. What you prefer is a judgment call, but this you've seen in action. We've seen a Tamil Sangam being organized in Ahmedabad and organized in Varanasi, okay, 11 on your screen. So the cultural aspect, also important. A global Ramayan festival, okay, to promote the interlinking. If you've seen NewsX in any time in the past 3 years, you've seen us working on the fact that Thailand and Laos and Cambodia and Bali and Vietnam and Indonesia, they all have Indic roots. We have much to celebrate and much to talk about. I have never been able to understand why no one's been speaking about this earlier. Good to see a government speaking about this. Good to see them organizing this. I don't see why this can be in dispute. The only thing you can argue is how effectively and how soon can they organize something at a grand scale. Number 12 on your screens. When we talk about armed forces reform, and many veterans will tell you that the world is moving towards theater commands. So India has Northern Command, Western Command, Eastern Command, Central Command, Southern Command. Multiply that into 3 forces. Okay, then you have the Coast Guard as the 4th. That you create a command theater, and this makes for more efficient military operations. Okay, so if there's an erudite voter who's from the armed forces and understands this, they will get it. Okay. Number 13, on what a promise has been made. And this is giving you a scale, a smorgasbord of various kinds of things. Okay. This is you've heard before. This is doable. This doesn't require a miracle. Okay. India is 3rd largest economy, which means you need to get past Germany, where you're almost there. You'll probably be there in a year or 2. And to get past Japan, which will be slightly more difficult. China and the US are right now 5 times the size of India's GDP. That's going to be, or 6 times, 7 times the size of India's GDP. That's much further, but 3rd largest economy in the next 5 years is doable, okay? Now, number 14 on your screens. Ayushman coverage, which means that senior citizens, anybody who's above the age of 75 gets 5 lakh insurance healthcare, okay? All of us know it is notoriously difficult once you're past 60, 65 to get health insurance. The premiums are unaffordable. Okay, at the age of 65, 70, 80,000 lakh rupees for a 5 lakh rupee insurance is the premium. Okay, it's a game changer for senior citizens if they manage to do it. They say within 100 days. Let's see. Number 15 on your screens, and the last point we'll pick up and we'll open up the conversation. Okay, this is specifically transgender individuals. They will get health insurance under Ayushman Bharat. Okay, so we've touched across of the various things that have been discussed. Obviously, there are hundreds of bullet points. You can go through them. So we touched across them. Now let's open up this conversation. Savio is still with us. Sumit P joining us on the broadcast. And let me take the opportunity to also introduce Nikhil Jain joining us on the broadcast for a contrarian perspective. Okay, now Savio, we were discussing what has been done. Now let's have a conversation on what needs to be done. There are lots of now different challenges emerging. One of them is, I mean, look at the environment, look at the air quality in the national capital, which has completely gone devastated in the past 10 odd years. That's not something to be happy about. So something needs to get done. Now, why does this, to you and people watching the broadcast, reflect as a very cogent thought? You've heard the criticism that there are no big ideas. Why no big ideas?
Well, actually, Rishabh, the thing is that the Modi government does not necessarily work on big ideas. They want to work on effective ideas. It's not us coming out and saying, let's do something great, and so people will say, wow. It is about what is the delivery on the ground. Like you and I were discussing a few moments earlier on the unemployment discussion. Let me take it a little further because I didn't get a chance to complete it. But according to the EPFO and the NPS, the total number of people registered are 266.739 million. Employees in MSMEs that are not registered with EPFO and NPS is 143.6 million. Unorganized sector registered on eShram is 295.34 million. Domestic household workers are 45.484 million. and non-farmer, non-domestic workers in unorganized sector is 58.9 million. So the total amount of people in data available that are tracking, the government agencies that are tracking employment, all sorts of, whether it's in the organized sector or unorganized sector, roughly works out to 936.383 million that are in some form of receipts of employments or employment receipts that is available. So yes, is unemployment a concern? Because frankly, about 25 million still remain unemployed, and we have to work towards that. Is environment a concern? Of course, environment is a concern. And that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi is working effectively with rest of the countries to bring about sustainable development goals. That's why green energy finds a mention in the manifesto itself, because India is moving towards green energy. India is trying to lead the world as far as green energy is concerned. What is it that India needs? See, you have to understand that today the young India is a very vibrant India and a very innovative
Okay,
India.
all right. Okay, but
That is
Savio,
why
here
what we-
is a problem. Okay, and it's called the law of diminishing returns, right? So when your track record is Ram Mandir built, track record is Article 370 abolished, suddenly UCC doesn't seem like a big deal, a big idea to many people. It seems almost that, yeah, it's expected. We are expected that the government will manage to pull this off. So what were actually huge deals, probably considered inconceivable, 33% reservation, one nation, one poll. So when the critics are saying that this is devoid of big ideas, is it because they seem like smaller ideas now, depending on what's already been done is likely to be done, or are they being accurate in saying that there is no vision statement, it's more of the same incrementally?
No, Rishabh, what people are looking at is primarily the conditioning that they've had for so long that you have to do dramatic things. But the most important thing, the most dramatic thing in the manifesto is India moving to 2047. There could be nothing more dramatic than that. Because what you are doing is setting up the foundation. The first 10 years was about correcting the anomalies that existed in the country. The next 10 years, right up till 2047, will be in ensuring that we are surging not as India, but as Bharat, and not just any developing country, but a developed country with a focus of leading the world.
Okay, we are in 2024, 2047 is 23 years away. Okay. So this is a Modi era in Indian politics, there's no doubt about it. Even the opposition recognizes this is a Modi era in Indian politics. 2047 is still of a bit of a push, Savio. You already talked about 10 years, next 10 years, then you talk about next 25 years. So let's keep it to the next 5.
The foundation has to be set now,
Okay.
Rishabh.
No, absolutely. I agree with you that the base has to be built. I agree with the premise, but let's talk about the next 5, which is what we're here for. Sumit, now, after having seen this manifesto, okay, are you a believer in the guarantee? So when the manifesto says UCC, the manifesto has been saying UCC for 40 years. When the manifesto says one nation, one poll, for which you'll have to have 2/3 majority and massive constitutional amendments, not easy to do. Okay, when it says we'll correct 3 crores of this and 10 crores of that, not easy to do. But do you believe it can be done and it will be done?
Rishabh ji, thanks for having me on your show. In fact, there's one thing which goes synonymous with Prime Minister Modi. Modi hai to mumkin hai. It can be only done because Modi is there. It could not be done because if Modi was not there. Because Modi is there and Modi's guarantees always deliver and deliver within 5 years. That is why it can be done. We were just talking with Savio about 370, about all the big Ram Mandir and all the big things which were conceived, we had a preconceived mindset. They cannot be done. When they were done, this is something which is within the realms and this is what the country needs. The Honorable Prime Minister was very clear. This is what the country needs right now. It is not good to have kind of a thing. 370 abrogation country needed. Yes, Ram Mandir is the need of the hour. And now Uniform Civil Code, if we talk of these one nation, one election, if we talk of these path-breaking schemes, this is what country needs. For example, if we talk of this scheme wherein we are saying everybody above 75, rich, poor, very ultra-rich, will get the insurance cover. How many million people are going to benefit out of this? For example, a small step like transgenders are going to get Ayushman cover. You have seen the kind of life these transgenders live. And when they are old, when they are sick, who takes care of them? They are literally left to die. When you bring these ideas, now every home practically, your home, my home, everybody home will have one person who's around 70, 75. There'll be a person around. So when these schemes hit, they hit each and every household. Now that is the Modi's guarantee, because they know, people of India know, if Modi ji ne kaha, it will happen and Modi will deliver. And what I believe, once you are in the power, Prime Minister Modi has already hinted of big ticket reforms. He was in a media conclave, he said कि भाई 4 तारीख के बाद ताबड़तोड़ काम आना शुरू होगा. So big ticket reforms could be police reforms, could be judicial reforms, and there's a lot on his mind which we do not know. Which
So I don't know. I don't know what those will be. I'll go by what they've told us. So they've told us UCC. Okay,
Yeah.
they've told us theaterization of the armed forces. They've told us one nation, one poll. That's written in the manifesto. Do you expect this to happen? That 2/3 majority, constitutional amendments, one nation, one poll within months?
Sir, 101%. There is no doubt for me or any citizen of India to think it will not happen. You know, we were told use touch 370 खून की नदियां बहेंगी, तिरंगे को कंधा देने वाला कोई नहीं मिलेगा. The whole world will come jumping and pouncing on you and will rip apart India. Will that not happen? We were touched that do not mess around with China. PLA is too strong. They drink, rivers dry. They will be in Delhi in 3 days. Did that happen? We were told never to build roads to the border areas because it will be easy for the China to come. There were a lot of preconceived notions. Do not touch PFA. Do not touch 370. Do not talk of big ticket reforms. Do not get with the big pharma. Oh, don't make in India vaccine. Import the vaccine. If you look at Prime Minister Modi, everything which was considered to be impossible is done.
Okay.
We would have been never a nuclear triad, Rishabh ji, if Modi ji was not the Prime Minister.
Now whether we agree with it or disagree with it, here is the list of promises that the BJP says it's made after thought. They've released a manifesto. Their Vision 2047, they've spoken about before. Many of the schemes they've spoken about are under implementation. Nikhil, do we, or even for many people, even grudgingly accept that things that were impossible to conceive now are actually very conceivable? That when the government says that if it comes to power, it intends to implement UCC and intends to implement one nation, one poll, that these will happen.
Rishabh, so first of all, I'm not in the debate to present a contrarian view. I'm only to question the claims that are being made by this government, which has thoroughly failed on the promises that they made in the 2014 and 2019 promises manifestos. Sumit Peerji said that people know that this government is going to deliver something that they've said. They said 15 lakh account mein aayenge, we'll generate 2 crore employments every year. We are going to double the farmer incomes. We are going to create 72 smart cities. We're going to bring in a bullet train. Nothing of that sort has ever come.
100.
Secondly, on the point of India moving towards 2024, Savio, sort of phrased it as some sort of inevitable that without Modi, India won't move into 2024, 2047. I don't quite understand that. Do we require Modi ji to have the, wheel of time spin? That being said, about the women reservation, 33% reservation, let me remind your viewers about Article 82 of the Constitution that says that the first delimitation exercise that happens after the census, after 2026, after that only can the delimitation exercise happen. So we don't even know whether this can be implemented in 2034 or 2039, given the fact that delimitation exercise, the last time it happened across the country, took 5.5 years. The census takes 1 year. So we don't know about that. Then on the topic of paper leaks, you specifically mentioned about the states of Rajasthan, Bihar and South. Let me also tell your viewers that Gujarat in the past 7 years had 22 paper leaks. Uttar Pradesh also had multiple paper leaks. In fact, very recently, the constable paper or some paper had leaked in Uttar Pradesh. On other topics, very interestingly, in this manifesto, nowhere has the English copy of this manifesto, nowhere has the word Bharat been written, while, Savio and other BJP spokespersons try to create this artificial distinction between India and Bharat because they're the same country. I don't know why do they have to create this distinction. Thank God the manifesto does not do that. Another very interesting point that I must tell your viewers is that in this entire manifesto of 76 pages, there isn't a single mention of Savarkar, Hedgewar, Deendayal Upadhyay, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, or Madan Mohan Malviya or any of the BJP's top leaders, but there are 65 mentions of Narendra Modi. On the other hand, in the Congress manifesto, not a single mention of Mallikarjun Kharge or Rahul Gandhi or Sonia Gandhi or any of the current leaders. That being said, I'm glad that the Congress has finally managed to get the BJP on the right pole when it comes to making poll promises, that Modi is now talking about guarantees. The same man who's been going around the country telling everybody that free electricity is a revdi, free healthcare is a revdi, is now offering the same to the people, and I appreciate that. That is how it should be. And free healthcare is being doled out, something that is radical and phenomenal and never happened before in the country. Chiranjeevi scheme.
No, there are fundamental differences. So let me get on the point of fundamental. No, hang on a second. So the fundamental differences, let me get on the point, Nikhil. When we are talking about free electricity, there are two ways of doing it. One, of course, is to give an electricity subsidy, which means your taxes and my taxes pay for the free electricity. That's a revedi. One is putting a solar panel on my roof which generates
Who pays
electricity.
for the solar panel?
There's a difference. Similarly, there's a
Rishabh, who
difference
pays for
between
the solar panel? One very important question. Who pays for the solar panel? It's yours and mine tax money. It's not going to come from the air. The solar panels are ridiculously expensive. 1 kilowatt of solar panel.
I'm not going to debate economics with you, Nikhil.
1 lakh or something.
But something that produces is called a capital investment. I'm sure you know that already, Nikhil. So you can say that you and I pay for the roads also, but it's the capital investment and then there is investment in giving subsidies and freebies. There are two different things. When it comes to the issue of healthcare, there is one argument that, of course, healthcare is important for all and it's a right. And the second is to use market forces like insurance. Now, are you saying that these two qualify then as revenues in your book?
I am saying they qualify as social welfare, as have the schemes of the other governments been. Very good that the BJP is doing that. I just hope that the Prime Minister stops calling helping the poor people of the country revedi.
Okay, all right. So on my original question,
we have very privileged lives.
So on my original question, do we believe them? We might disagree with what they say or might think they not say enough, but do we believe them when they say it? Because when they said 370, when they said Ram Mandir for 40 years, it happened now and it happened under this government.
No, I can't believe them because when they talk of the UCC, I remember a press conference from Amit Shah a couple of months ago when he clearly said that UCC is not going to be extended across the tribal areas of the country. It's not going to be extended across a lot of parts of the northeast of the country. Then if you're going to do that, that is not a uniform civil code. So that is not going to happen. Then on the topic of women reservation bill, again, we don't know how long will it take to happen. And one very clever thing that the BJP has done this time around is they have not mentioned any measurables. Pichli baar the promise was 2 crore jobs a year. This time around, they're just writing jobs. Now that can be 2,000 jobs, that can be 2 crore jobs.
All right, that's partially true.
Very little to measure.
There are specifics here. They talk about Lakpati Didi. There are specifics, but okay. People can read the constitution themselves, the manifesto themselves, and read both parties' manifesto, and we'll come and discuss the dynamic difference between two on the other side of this break. Couple of interjections before I take a break. Sumit wants to make one, then Savya. Sumit, go ahead.
We are missing the point here, Rishabh. Our friend Nikhil is trying to spin the things around. One is I put all the money in which I collect for taxes and put as electricity subsidy. Second is I put a panel on your rooftop. After 1 year, I paid for the panel, and after 1 year, panel starts giving you free electricity, and you can sell the balance to the national grid. Once you're selling the electricity to the national grid, from a consumer, you're becoming a producer. That is how the cycle of ROI works. So let me tell you, Nikhilji, the number 2 and the number 3 biggest solar plants in the world are not in China; they are in India today. We have ramped up this capacity.
I think they just finished the biggest one in Rajasthan a couple of days ago.
That is why we are enrolling this now, not 5 years back. Because 5 years back, we had to import from China, uska koi fayda nahi. The number 2, when you are talking of Ayushman Bharat insurance, now the government is paying, let's say, 1,000 rupees for my father's insurance to the insurance company, and they are covering my father for 5 lakh rupees. Second is I am trying to build how many sarkari hospitals and how many dispensaries and how many mohalla clinics and gully clinics can I build? How can I ensure quality there? How can I ensure doctors there? Now with Ayushman Bharat, you can go to a government hospital, private hospital, semi-private hospital. There are hundreds and thousands of hospitals across the length.
This is not easy, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want to reduce it to 30 seconds, okay? Because the American example of going the insurance route in healthcare has been a devastating example. Similarly, the free NHS example of the UK, where government covers cost of everything, is also not the best example. So this is a very complex subject, but on the face of it, as things stand, do you think it's a good idea or not? We leave it up to you. You've heard Nikhil's point of view. Quick 30 seconds, Savya, then we take a break.
My good friend Nikhil is a very pessimistic person, and I think that comes with supporting the Congress.
He'll say he's just being realistic.
No, he's not. And I'll tell you why. When the UPA era was around, these were the same people talking about, Garibi Hatao and trying to lift up the social welfare of the poor people. They were only able to give them 3 crore toilets. We have done 11.8 crore toilets and more. In fact, I'm talking about December 31st figures. We are in April. It would have definitely gone more. That is as simple as that. Talk about tap water connections. They hardly did about 3.2 crore tap water connections. Okay. We have already crossed 11 crore.
Okay.
So stop being pessimistic.
Okay, so
move on.
Ladies and gentlemen, so there are several aspects. Okay, all right.
4 crore houses delivered.
Okay, yes. Ladies and gentlemen.
So
ladies and gentlemen, why we vote?
That doesn't matter to them.
All our politicians want to figure out why we vote. So part of it is going to be the practical conversation we've just had. on the basis of promises, on the basis of believability, on the basis of efficacy and deliverability. But a part, at least the opposition hopes, a part of it is on the basis of ideology, vision, processes and systems going ahead. So now let's take a break and come back and now put head to head. What is the sort of outlook of the BJP manifesto? What sort of vision of India is it giving you versus what kind of vision of India has the Congress manifesto given you in terms of thinking? Let's have that conversation. See you in 30 seconds.